afternoon. My name is NaTaki, Osborne-Jelks. I am the chair of the board of the West Atlanta Watershed Alliance. We are a community-based organization that was founded and run by people who live in the Proctor, Utoy, and Sandy Creek watersheds. That's most of Northwest and Southwest Atlanta. Because we are concerned about water, we sort of organize based on a watershed level. So instead of organizing based on individual communities, we try to organize based on the outline of the entire watersheds. So we've been working for a number of years in the Proctor Creek watershed, and I live in the Proctor Creek watershed, and really got started working in this watershed as a college student. I went to Spelman College and Georgia Tech through a dual degree engineering program. And when I got to Georgia Tech, interestingly enough, there was an environmental organization that was doing a stream watch program, conducting water quality monitoring in Proctor Creek. And we were working in the Carver Hills community and many of the communities within Northwest Atlanta, in which Proctor Creek runs through people's front and backyards. It runs through public parks and school grounds, and we found that there were a number of stressors. And Tony started to talk about some of those issues with flooding, and there's a lot of soil erosion, people really literally losing their land to the creek every time there are heavy rainfall events. In the Carver Hills community where that work got started, there's also a closed landfill, but at the time, this was in the late 1990s, there was contamination from that landfill getting into the creek. And so as we conducted some studies, we only found that there were species of non-native fish there who could tolerate pollution and those types of things. And so as an individual student, I got involved in this project through Georgia Tech, but also took that as an opportunity to work in the community with every project that I could work on. If I had a hydrology project, then I did a study on Proctor Creek within the Carver Hills community. I don't know if the Georgia Tech, there used to be a foundation in which students could get small mini grants to work on projects either on campus or in the community. And so I wrote some of those mini grants and put those grants in service to what the community needed within the Proctor Creek watershed. And so I think there's still opportunities like that that exist. But in addition to that, where there are professors who are interested, I think we can go beyond just some of the architecture courses and move into the civil and environmental engineering courses or biology courses. We are actually working with Emory University right now with students in the public health program who have done who've done about 6 to 8 weeks of water quality sampling within Proctor Creek, and so they will be presenting those results on next week. So there are lots of opportunities to get involved with the issues that impact the community. But even beyond things that are really science-based, there are stories that need to be captured in all of our Westside communities. But definitely within the Proctor Creek watershed, where kids used to be able to play, people used to be able to safely fish, and people used to be baptized there. But now we see a creek in a watershed that is severely impaired and polluted. But it's good for us to try to get those stories, and so we could use the help of students who could help us with some oral history and some video projects where we are interviewing some of the older residents of the community, of the watershed, to get those snatches of their wisdom, but also to understand what this area used to be like before the neglect, before the disinvestment, and before all of the economic and environmental disparities started to sort of set in. So I'll kind of stop there. We were asked to keep it to about 5 minutes. The only other thing that I would say is that there are opportunities for community-based participatory research, research in which community folks can work hand in hand with students and other people within academia to answer some critical questions, things that can help inform some of the current development conversations that are happening and some of the current projects that are sort of on tap to happen in the Westside areas. So there are lots of opportunities, and hopefully some of what has been said today will spark some of your interest and give you an avenue to try to get engaged.